In just under an hour, around 60 business leaders will hold a roundtable to discuss their role in reducing domestic and family violence. Woolworths, Telstra, Optus and Origin are just some of the big companies to be represented at this meeting in Sydney, while banks, insurers and super funds will also be present. Tech-facilitated violence and coercion will be the focus, as 1 in 6 Australian women have experienced financial abuse at the hands of their partner. Joining me now is one of the conveners of the roundtable, Domestic Family and Sexual Violence Commissioner Michaelia Cronin. Michaelia, thanks so much for your time. This is a big step. We often look to government for the solutions here, but government alone can't do this. So what is the most important role big business can play?
Good morning, and you're quite right. Government often need to take the lead in setting the policy framework, but businesses and the community have a great deal that they can do. We know that many of the products and services that businesses develop and sell are weaponised by men who abuse and coercively control their families, and businesses have a role to play both in thinking about safety by design principles in the way they develop those services and products to help prevent that abuse and control, but also then when it does happen to intervene and support the people who use their businesses.
Banks have been aware of this for quite some time. We've seen these, the explanation part of any transfer has been used to troll, abuse former partners. What other things, more specifically, can banks do?
Banks have really been leading the way in looking at their products and the way that they can be used to cause harm. One of the things that the banks have been doing that is really, I think, incredibly shows real leadership is sharing the technology that they've done to look for where people are, as you've described, using messages to send abusive and really very frightening messages to their former partners often, or really controlling messages to their current partners. So developing technology that can help get in front of those kinds of abuses, sharing that and collaborating. The other thing that we're really hoping will come out of the roundtable today, and expect, because so many senior businesses have sent senior leaders, is further collaboration and sharing of information across, as appropriate, with the permission of their customers, but sharing of information, making it easier for people when they are in domestic violence situations to make themselves safe. The other thing that often happens with products is that people can be put down, discover that they've been made the trustee of something, or their insurance has been taken out in their name, or stuff that follows them and is incredibly hard to undo without the business's support.
Okay, so that does happen more frequently than we know about. So what do you hope to get out of these discussions today? Because each business is a little bit different and can bring something different to the table. But is it about making it easier to unwind those things, or is it about making it harder to do in the first place?
It's both, Laura. I think that what we need is for businesses to be thinking ahead of the game. What we know is that people who perpetrate violence often think of things that most of us, it would never even occur to us about how to weaponise those products. So we need businesses to be thinking as they're designing products, thinking about safety first and building things in. We also need them to be thinking about and learning from each other about, okay, how do we respond when terrible things have happened, when their services unintentionally have been used to harm people? What can they do to support them? And sharing that information. You said before we started this, we're talking about government needing to lead the way. One of the things business can do is actually move very fast. We've seen lots of businesses, for example, changing their terms and conditions. So we need leadership from the business sector about ensuring that safety is a primary objective for them in supporting their customers.
Michaelia, this roundtable is a damn good idea today, and hopefully it produces a lot of momentum in the things that we've just been discussing. You've been meeting with government stakeholders as well in Canberra a couple of weeks ago. I know this is, a day-to-day battle for you, and it's hard to take a bigger picture perhaps from time to time, but are we making progress, do you think?
I think what I'm really seeing is increased coordination across government. I think government are rapidly looking at how can they work across states and territory boundaries, across different portfolio areas, really thinking about what their responsibility and commitment is to the, as you said, the bigger picture. I think that examples like today, we've got over 60 business leaders coming to this roundtable today. We had immediate responses from some of Australia's biggest companies wanting to sit at the table. I think that there is hope for me in that, because at the same time we're seeing increasing levels of harm. We're seeing increasing numbers of women being murdered, and we're seeing a generation of young people growing up with misogynist hate speak against women online like we've never seen before. So we've got to get in front of the game.
I mean, the tech giants, and we've been running a campaign here, the tech giants, government's looking at this, particularly the effect social media has on young children. That's a big part of the solution here, isn't it?
Absolutely it is. It's a big part of the problem. It's a big part of the problem. Yeah. It's moving part of the issue, and it's about it's like I was saying before about products being weaponised. The world is changing very fast, much faster than we are really set up for, and everybody needs to be thinking ahead of the game about how will this new next innovation actually potentially cause harm, and think about safety in the way things are designed. When the internet was launched, developed, we weren't thinking about how it could be used for harm, and we're having to now retrofit things to address that. We need to support parents and schools about how they support young people in dealing with the barrage of things that they're not going out looking for. Yeah. How do we support them in responding to that?
Yeah, so would you support a ban on social media for children under 16? I mean, this is a little bit outside of your remit, but it's also, this big cultural change, right? Making sure that they're not exposed to things that their parents don't want them to be, but also the algorithms are out of control.
And I think that there are a bunch of things we need to do, Laura. I think really importantly, we need to be talking to young people and listening to them about what will work to support them in dealing with the barrage of things that they are seeing. I think Julian Mangrant and the eSafety Commission is absolutely leading in this space brilliantly. What we're really interested in is making sure that we are listening to young people about what's going to work for them, because I heard a young woman this morning saying, our generation didn't grow up with the internet in quite the same way that they did, and we need to be listening to their ideas, and it will take a range of strategies all the way through from what are the things that we actually really do need to restrict access to, how do we make sure the platforms that have the capacity can pull things down really quickly, and how can we enforce that, through to education and support for parents and kids and schools.
Michaelia, always good to talk to you. Thanks so much. Good luck today.
Thank you very much.